Hi everybody, my name is Dakota. I'm sorry I don't have my gong today. I would have introduced the show with my gong because bells are a way of deliberately bringing peaceful energy into the atmosphere. Very soothing, very healing. I'm kind of right-winging it today, but I'm going to show you some of my singing and a little bit of my dancing today. Hopefully my voice is back enough for me to be able to sing. I haven't been able to sing very well for about a week now. My voice has been very crisp and sandpaperish, and it's like driving me crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do some singing today. And of course I'm gonna do some dancing if I can manage. First off, I'd like to start the show by again saying thank you to my wonderful counterpart JT, and without him I wouldn't be able to do the show the way I really want to, like with me moving around. And he's my cameraman, and he also keeps me up to par by asking me questions and things that need to be answered and stuff like that, and things about how I, as a spiritual healer, work to calm myself down, or how I learned to calm down, because I don't remember if I said this before, but the way I learned my spirituality is I look up to the heavens. Instead of looking in a book, I find that my faith is opened up extremely.
Stay by the microphone.
Thank you. I find that my faith opens up a whole lot more when I just look to the stars and ask. And the more I do so, the more I learn. Because the more I awaken myself to see things the way they're meant to be seen. And no longer fret over daily living or finances or things like that. Because I realize that no matter what, if I die, that's not coming with me anyway. My cars, if I had a car, would not come with me. My house, if I had a house that I owned, would not come with me. None of my belongings. So no matter how much I fret over things like food, water, a roof over my head, or a vehicle to drive in because I'm tired of taking a bus, no matter how much I fret, I always remember that one thing, and that's, you know what? When I die, I'm not going to have any of this anyway, so why should I be constantly worrying about all of this?
It's a really good point.
It makes no difference. It's not going to do us any good.
No.
We need to start worrying about more things like saving the planet, stopping the things that are happening, the wrongs. About a half a week ago, I think today, was that a half a week ago, or was it a couple days ago, when that shooting happened?
It was last Friday.
I forgot how many kids were there.
A lot. More than enough.
Horrible. Well, I think they said like about 30 kids or something like that, 30 or something like that. I'm not sure, maybe more. But anyway, the point is, when stuff like that happens in the world around you, you know for a fact that we've gone too far. We've overstepped the boundary, the perimeter line between what's normal insanity and what's abnormal insanity. Because there is more than one version of insanity as well. Some people have insanity of the living of life, because their whole life through, they're like these busy bees, working and working and working and working and slaving to make their life through, when people should just be living closer to the land. Mm-hmm. People should start realizing that they should grow their own food. Stores are not as important all the time, which means you don't have to go shopping for produce or stuff like that. You know, I think a lot of things should change, but I think a lot of things should stay the same. There are many things in this world that destroy it, but there are also many things in this world that help push it forward. Each day we're growing and falling at the same time.
So it's a good combination of good and bad. And
Yes.
just balancing it out. So how do you not freak out? How do you not just view all the things as bad, but also seeing good things?
I have to remember that no matter what, whether the world is ending on 12/21/2012 or not, I have to realize that no matter what, as long as I keep a sane head on my shoulders, even if the world starts to physically fall apart before my eyes, where buildings are falling to the ground, I still must keep my mind like it is right now with the spirituality and the body combined. I still must continue to walk that one straight and narrow path. If I'm going to survive, I just got to keep my eyes open, because there's going to be other people that are going to be on the borderline of beyond my
freaking out.
reach.
Right.
So I'm going to have to be aware of people surrounding me that are not too far gone to where I can't grab them and shake them into their senses and tell them to follow me.
You're just
know,
grounded. You want
Yes.
to be grounded. You want to be
Yes.
balanced.
Even in the state of pure pandemonium, you still must keep a sound mind. They tell you that in the combat field. I've never been to the army or anything, or to the armed forces, but I have many friends that are veterans of many different wars. And in combat, you have to keep a sound mind. You cannot panic, because if you panic, you may shoot one of your fellows instead of the enemy.
I kind of want to back down, because I kind of disagree with you when you said that you haven't been involved in combat. When the thing happened to you, 3 weeks ago, when a gun was put to your head, it may not be combat in Iran or Iraq or Afghanistan or Russia or wherever, Grenada. Grenada has always been strange, but you had a gun put to your head. That's combat. That's combat of the streets, and you didn't panic, and you kept your head together. So I beg to differ, and I think you do know, and I think you carry a lot of grace and balance with you. You know, you can go off. You can go to a point where it's getting overwhelming, but you do bring yourself back. And that's what's impressive about you. And I saw you going through an immensely stressful situation and watching you bring it down to a rational point of survival.
And without medicine, by the way. I haven't taken medicine for nearly, I think, let's see, since somewhere in it was almost the end of summer.
Yeah.
And that was while I was still homeless. Yeah. And people kept looking at me in a way when I was homeless and saying, something's different about this one. This one's still smiling. Been out here 4 months, gone through God knows what. But this one's still smiling. The other ones aren't smiling, but this one is. The other ones aren't always smiling. A lot of times they're frowning because they're upset or struggling. But no matter whether this one's struggling or not, she always never ceases to fail to smile. No matter what she goes through. She keeps cheery, she keeps happy, and she keeps a good outlook on life. Because she knows if she doesn't, that, she might fail and end up dead out there. So she has to take care of herself and make sure she's got, even then, that sound mind. Because I was being attacked then too.
Well, yeah, when I saw you...
This is the first time I've ever had to use my Kung Fu. And then my friend, Virgo, she and my friend Chrissy, which shocked me the most. I couldn't believe what they did, just because I don't like to do Kung Fu because it reminds me too much of hurting people. As a spiritual healer, I don't like to want to hurt people. And I was trying to tell them that the reason I didn't use a full-on Kung Fu kick on the bag is because when I get down there in that bag, usually I have to already be angry in order to really do some effective moves that would really mess someone up. Because other than that, it's like I'm just wanting to be happy. I'm happy, and I don't want to go back to that mode to where I'm, letting
Right.
aggressive tendencies out, because never let aggressive tendencies run free.
Exactly.
You know, because even if they're intended in a good way, they can still always turn out in a bad outlook. You know, on in the end of the perspective, that it turns out they end up being a bad thing. Too much of anything is not a good thing.
Well, even if it means, so what? So you didn't give the perfect kick. The thing is, and I'm going to go back to that time and time again, because when somebody reveals to me the real inner self, not just words, not like I'm a good person, but shows me that they're a good person. When I saw you dealing with that situation that is a total mind F for a lot of people, who cares if you can kick the bag perfectly? You got out of a situation that was incredibly bad and negative. And you kept yourself contained, you know? That's what's impressive. That, for me, that's what counts. And maybe, and I think you agree with me a lot on that, too. It's just like, yeah, so what? A perfect kick, what is that, you know? You're not Chuck Norris, you know?
But at the same time, even though I'm upset with them, I still love them. They're still my
yeah.
very good friends, and I will always care for them. And I know I'm overwhelming them a little bit. I have been there an incredibly lot, because I've been wanting to have a good time and wanting to be happy and smile.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that I was, you know, going a little too much. Sometimes I have a habit of doing that, so I also have to look at my part on this, because it's not just their fault. They just got annoyed, and, you know, they took it out on me in the wrong and with the wrong thing, and that was not my fault. I mean, it was not their fault nor my fault. It was the stress that we're all dealing with on a regular basis. The whole world is dealing with all this stress, compiling one bit of stress from around the world over another, you know, and constantly, as that stress and that pressure builds up, naturally every human being has a breaking point.
Right.
And they break, and sometimes they break on the wrong person.
Right.
So I'm not saying I don't like them, or that, you know, I won't be their friends, but at the same time, I'm saying that they could have done what I asked them to do before and just told me, Coda, just shut up, or Coda, be quiet. Because like I said to them many times before, I said, you know what, if I'm talking too much, or if I'm coming over too much, tell me to stay away for a few days, and I'll do so.
You just need to know boundaries, people's boundaries.
Yes, I need to know everything, and everybody, they want to be so sweet to me, but stop being sweet to me, because in the end, you know, you're just going to be angry with me, and you're just going to do
It's all gone.
Do that,
It's just,
yeah. And it just, you're causing yourself more pain than anything, and why do that? Why do that to yourself? If I get overwhelming for people, you know, I would want them to tell me I'm overwhelming them so that I can stop. Because that's just the person I am, you know? Yeah. Everybody makes mistakes.
Exactly.
Nobody's perfect.
And we all drive each other crazy, and we drive each other sane, and we drive each other all over the place. But it's about communication. It's about love, and it's just about forgiveness, too.
Okay. It's just so many people commonly misread or misunderstand or mistake maybe even a movement as a form of something aggressive. Tell me, people, have you ever walked down the street and someone looked at you a little differently than you're used to people looking at you? And have you ever, in your mind, compilated that why did that person give me such a dirty look? What did I do to them? I don't even know them. Have you ever done that? I'm sure a lot of you have.
Yeah.
I know I have. But sometimes you have to stop and think. When you think you're about to do that, stop and think. Like, wait a minute. Maybe he didn't have a good day. Maybe he just got into a fight, even though he looks nice and is walking with his girlfriend. Maybe he got in a fight with some store clerk because they did something, you know, wrong or something. Who knows? You know, everybody makes mistakes, and those mistakes don't mean that you have to like automatically form that horrible stereotypical assumption that person is just looking at you because they don't like you.
Right.
Because it's not, 9 times out of 10, it's not always true.
No, they're just looking at a facade. They're not looking at you. They're looking at the outside of you.
Exactly.
And it's not like, so how
They're
can you
looking
make it?
at the appearance.
Right, right. And even though this country has a history of a lot of isms on judging people by the way they look, the color of their skin, their sex, their sexual orientation, handicap, everything, sometimes it's not that at all. Sometimes people just look at you weird, and it just doesn't mean anything. And sometimes it does. And it's...
Yeah. Well said. Thank you. But anyway, I'm gonna check to see if my computer is playing music, and I'll do some dancing for you for a minute. And unfortunately, it's copyrighted, so I have to listen
Microphone.
to separate headphones, so you guys won't be able to hear it.
Can't hear you.
Oh,
There you go.
I'm sorry. I've just been told that I couldn't be heard. But unfortunately, because it's a copyrighted material, I cannot play it on the air. Out of respect for the radio station's wishes, I don't want you to turn this away from the... Because out of respect for the radio station's wishes, I want to comply with their standards and their rules, because they're keeping to their end of the bargain, and I think everyone should be doing the same for them that they're trying to do themselves, because they're out there trying to start this business, and without people being willing to comply with their specific rules that they have right now, they can never like get that actual station license or funding that they need to do what they need to do, to grow, because the point of any type of business or organization is to always grow and flourish and nourish what's inside of you and your business and what you stand for with your business and why you do your business that you do. Excuse me, I'm a little tangled. One moment. Sorry. All right. There's a phone ringing.
Yeah, just ignore it.
This is terrible. Oh. Sorry, I'm turning my phone off. That's really distracted
I
me.
know, I'm sorry.
And it just threw me off, and I look like a fool right now.
No, you don't.
You're not supposed to have phones on. Silly goose.
I can't find you. There you are.
I can't find myself. That phone got me lost. Okay. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm a little nervous that I had him. I always tell people to turn off their cell phones during the start of a show, and his phone started ringing, and it really threw me off. So I probably won't be doing no dancing today, and
Sorry.
I won't be able to show you my skill. I'm sorry. Once my spirit is distracted, it's kind of hard for it to find its place back to where it wanted to go. So it never will come out the same. So, sorry.
Well, I think it's not a bad idea to work out for the next show if you want to do that. Maybe doing the camera out there and showing up here. Not now, some other time.
But, I don't even know what to do now. I'm lost. Ask me a question, do something.
Have you noticed that the rain has all turned to snow right now, and it's all
Oh
coming
yes, people, look out your windows of your vehicles or your cars or even a restaurant if you're at a restaurant and see the beautiful white snowflakes that are falling right now.
It's kind of sticking, some of it,
It's
too.
yes, and some of it is sticking. So please, people on the roads, be careful, and people who are at restaurants or bars or anywhere else, please be careful when you leave the restaurants on the roads, okay? Because they're going to be a little slippery or slick. So for your own safety, please be careful. Make sure you buckle up and don't drink and drive.
Pretty good point.
Okay.
But it is beautiful to look out there.
Yes, but it is lovely. It is a lovely sight to behold. It's starting to stick slightly on the windows. If you could direct the camera to that jackpot gallery right there and show the roof of the gallery and also the green awning part.
Oh, yeah.
If you people can see that, that is just beautiful. I mean, it looks like something out of like one of those Christmas decorations you would get. That are
Charles
those little
Dickens.
China house Christmas decorations where you put the little Christmas lights in and you set them on a table, with a felt cloth under them and make a whole little village out of them. That's what that reminds me of right there. And that's just beautiful things I love to look at upon first snow. And those are the cute little things that they remind me of. Oh, isn't this cute? Look at this little leopard. Poor thing shivering its butt off out there. Little stuffed leopard. Oh, he's looking inside saying, "Can you guys take me in, please? I'm cold out here."
Do you think you should bring him in?
I think so. Let's bring that little leopard in here.
Well, go on out there.
I'll be right back, people. I have to make sure the little stuffed leopard is warm. These are just the cute things I do. Sorry. It's so cute. Recorded it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet the snow leopard. The always elusive snow
It looks
leopard.
kind of rough.
Yes, it does, and he poor thing's sopped to the bone. I'll let him dry off. Get warm, buddy. Well, anyway, after that cute little thing, I do all kinds of things like that. My friends find me so cute and entertaining because I'm always doing silly things like that. Because it's my personality. I know it's not real and it's not got any real life in it, but it's just the cute things like that that make me who I am.
Well, it's considerate, you know.
Yeah.
It might upset a little kid if they came by anyway because he'd want to know why the little animal was freezing to death.
I know. Because kids will think that's alive. But, but anyway, ask me another question. I like how this show's going. This one's kind of funny, more like a comedy in a way.
Well, it can be.
Comical,
what
a little drama.
else? Well, apparently
A little
everybody was
outdoor
just...
escapade, hike to the.
This is supposed to be pretty
bench.
intense, all this snow right now. People are
Yes,
talking
it
it's
is.
going to be pretty...
And it's, oh my gosh, if you direct the camera to the streets, look, it's already sticking to the streets over across the street.
you get people-
People, it is going to get really cold, and it is also going to get really bad out there. So, if you guys are out there shopping or doing things and you are at a mall or at a store, please think about and consider going home before this gets any worse out there, because just to decrease the amount of accidents that could happen while you all are leaving.
This is what everybody
and
wants.
bosses and managers of businesses, please consider letting your employees off a little early today because of the snow, so that they don't get hurt. Because there's no use risking someone's life. I know it can be a burden on any business, but without the workers, how can any business be run?
Right. Good point.
So that's a good way to think about it. Just everybody, please know that you have my prayers and blessings to all of you, and And please be careful out there.
So, not to bring up a sore subject because of the phone and stuff, but is there a chance you're going to be going out dancing this weekend?
Of course, definitely.
Good, good. And you really like dancing, don't you?
Yes, I love to dance. When I dance, I feel the pure, raw spirit energy come out of me. And when I sing too.
Yeah.
Like when I start singing, I feel that raw spiritual energy. I feel like I'm alive.
Well, you are, because I can see you, obviously, but there's something really...
Well, yes, of course. We all know that.
Really wonderful. When you stopped the other night when we were just walking down the street and you started singing to me, it was really moving. I mean, it was just like in the middle, of a walk, coming from point A to point B, and just to have a really sweet song. And when you dance, I like watching you dance. Frankly, I think the only thing that drives me crazy for the most part is you and this damn microphone, because it just keeps flopping all over the place. Should I just move the camera across the way?
Yes. I'm going to sit next to you.
Okay.
I'm going to sit next to him. I'm sorry. This show is kind of sporadic today. I'm a little hyper. But what's new? We all know that I get hyper. Okay, I'm having microphone issues, I think. Nope, that's the headphone. That's why. Uh-oh. Oh, dear. Is this microphone plugged in, John?
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Try to see if you can hear me, because
Yes.
you can hear me? Because I can't hear myself in these headphones.
You can either change them or I will be doing
Oh, I'm highly tangled here. I'm getting lost in these parts. That's funny. Okay, I can hear myself. Okay, cool. All right, how's the camera? Oh goodness, this show is funny. I'm gonna just bust out laughing in a moment. I'm just gonna start laughing. Yes, it's just funny. I like this sometimes when I get, so distracted. I get so distracted sometimes, and I find that I have to laugh because it's like so freaking funny. Because if I'm thinking it's funny, imagine what other people are thinking as they're watching me on the World Wide Web. Sometimes when I get hyper, how silly and goofy, and also sometimes how clumsy I can get, because I can get clumsy as well. And it's really quite a sight, quite a funny sight. I mean, I have people that when I'm walking down the street and I do something silly, all of a sudden they just start giggling, and it's like they can't help it. They can't resist that urge to giggle, because they think they don't think it's like, they're not poking fun at me, but they're more laughing because it was so darn cute and I didn't know they were watching, and when I realized they were watching and I knew I made that mistake, they just kind of chuckled. One of them, like, you goofball. Because most of the people here know me, but
Well, you have a lightness about it. I mean, just right before the show, you managed to kick over your whole glass of tea and flood the floor, and it was inevitable. I have 2 pairs on the floor, and I was actually kind of impressed that you didn't step on those. These things will happen. No worse for the wear. It's not like the world's going to end.
Oh God, man! Imagine how many little germs and stuff are on there. Like, to go into the fairy tale mode for a minute, like the little Whoville, a little world on a snowflake, or for instance, like Horton Hears a Who, where the Who's are all on a speck of dust, and he's trying to keep that flower. That is so funny, because it's like people have moments in their life where they almost feel like it's like that, where like you can actually look at a fruit and find the comedy in the fact that those germs, they might be their own version of like some advanced civilization. It's kind of funny, and those are cute cartoons, and it gets kids' imagination running, which is a good imagination is a very healthy thing for kids.
Well, creativity is, I mean, just by you talking about dancing and singing, it just goes back to that. It's just, you need outlets, you need a way of acknowledging your God, the goddesses, and whether it's dancing, whether it's, painting, I think that this community is really wonderful, that there are a lot of creative outlets. What I don't like is people that try to limit them, that they have to fit into a certain category. If there's anything that we've learned over the past 30, 40 years with art itself, is that the perimeters are that there are no perimeters, and that you need to expound upon them and go as far as you can. And whether you want to paint your face with a permanent marker or or turn a shawl into a skirt, these are all just examples of just a constant evolution of how your life goes and how you see things. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. At no point is there any hostility, is there anything dressed at people. It's wonderful, and I think that's one of your gifts, one of your many gifts.
Exactly. And I know I have a lot of these things, but I don't give myself enough credit, and I let people's words sometimes get me down, because but the other night I was realizing that I had to stop doing that. I had a realization, like a eureka moment, to where I was like, you know what? When they say something, just stop listening to them, and I won't get so upset. I won't feel so bad, and I won't, have to feel like I have to defend myself anymore. Just don't listen to them. Act like they don't exist. Don't even turn and look at them. Don't even use your fingers or your hands to gesture to them.
Well, especially if it's
just make it feel like they don't exist, because that's what they're doing to you.
People want a reaction.
Yes.
The night that we were walking, it was fairly early, and that older man just wanted to fight with you, and when it got very contentious, right away he was like, "Oh, you're gonna hit me? I'm 60 years old." I'm like, dude, you called this person out. You started this thing. What is the point? The point is people like to frustrate, and if you keep wasting your time trying to get at people and to frustrate them, how the hell do we ever expect to do anything within our society? How do we expect to grow? Why do we even bring children in so they can live through this stuff? Come on,
Exactly.
Let's take this,
Let's take this bull by the horns and get it right and make it right.
Yeah.
Because only we can make this world the best world to live in. It's up to us. You have the power within you to make this world a beautiful place to be, where everybody can coexist in harmony. Not just in the United States, but around the world. And it'll take a lot of work, but it'll have to mean digging in immediately. Not procrastinating, not prolonging things. If you want world peace, you have to work and get in and dig in immediately. To immediately start working for world peace. Everyone together, united in the same cause. But because nobody is willing to do that, world peace will never come. Because people are not willing to work together completely. If you work together around the world, worldwide, together, none of you will ever have a need or a worry that can't be met. Because you'll have worked together, and now you're coexisting in harmony. One world, united as one, together, standing for one just cause.
Maybe that's why people think you're insane, because you have this idea that things could work out and there could be harmony, and people look at just the news and what's going on. It's like, why are you talking about harmony? Why people are shooting each other over $15, or the horrible things that we do to each other in a day-to-day thing. Maybe, and if you are insane, I want to be insane too, because I want to be able to have that belief. And if it just takes one step at a time, then maybe in my lifetime there's not going to be world peace. I'm going to know damn well, at least I did something towards it, just like you have done things towards it too.
Well, if faith is deemed insane, faith and spirituality and belief and grounding, if any of that is considered insane, then I'm insane.
Yeah.
Because I have extreme pure love and pure faith in my heart. I don't want to see anybody go through any troubles. When I see people suffering financially, all I really want to do is reach out and give them all my money, my whole SSI check, all of my money in 1 month, just to them, to make sure that they can be happy and survive.
Why is their happiness so important to you?
Because for them to be happy, is the miracle that I see in my eyes. Because humanity has been very unhappy since basically its creation. They've been a very miserable, wretched race, always toiling, suffering, since the very beginning when they first started expansions. When the human race started to grow and began to multiply, they started getting very miserable because of the fact that they had to toil in the dirt. They had to plant their foods, they had to grow their crops, tend their livestock, do all kinds of things. They had to worry about money, finances, housing, putting a roof over their head. Although, money wasn't even an issue until, like, the dawn of reason. When people started realizing that they could, that certain things would benefit them in certain ways if they had it. Can I tell you why money was introduced and why money was invented? Money is just a way to have power over someone else. Every country, every culture in the world, the reason money is existing is because it's power. Money spells power. Money is the root of all evil.
Especially if you have it.
It's very destructive and self-destructive. Because so many people get stuck in the aspects of what is money.
Well, and materialism that goes with it.
Yes.
I mean, you can have money and do really good things with it.
The Native Americans in the United States and also old Native cultures around the world, they all coexisted and they didn't use money. Most of those old like tribal-like clans, not the like main ones that live there, like just more like the ones that usually hide in the forests.
You would trade.
Yeah, they would trade. They were natives. They were more like the natives. They would trade instead of using money. Because then money was of no value. Money meant nothing. Money was just a piece of metal or a piece of stone or a piece of whatever else. It could be a piece of bark for all they knew.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever it is,
Shells.
it's just that. And that's all it is. And it's shells of something that it's supposed to be. To them, gold was not something they reached for. They were not always trying to reach for those treasures within the earth because they knew that within the earth was not what they were meant to touch. Whatever's on top of the earth is theirs. Inside the earth, all the things that we take from it on a regular basis really hold a serious spiritual grounding into the earth itself. And as you take that stuff out, slowly you kill the earth's spirit. And that's a horrible thing to do. And she responds and recoils in frustration and rage. So her lands shake. In her waters you see tsunamis and hurricanes. Land you see snow, extreme weather conditions of any type, and then also you got many other weather anomalies that are happening. Like for instance, I was watching this documentary and they said there's a black hole located somewhere within the realms of our current universe, our current area, not universe, our current
Solar system.
Solar system, like galaxy, within the galaxy. A black hole is something, in my mind, that just like dark matter, is something of evil. Evil likes to swallow things up. Good likes to let them be and let them flourish and grow. So if you think about it, even space anomalies can have evil things in evil ways. Because if you think about it, some anomalies create while others destroy. The ones that are destructive and only destructive and don't have on occasion create, those are bad. Those are caused by no matter where you go in the universe. This is why I don't hold to the fact that Earth is the only planet that can be inhabitable. Now, I don't know about, alien abductions or nothing, because, I haven't been abducted yet.
Not that you remember.
Yeah, but I'm sure I'd remember something like that,
Yeah.
But
market.
Yeah.
but it's just like
It's like it'll never die.
it's like that. It's like
Here and there a
it's
little
not.
bit.
I don't think it's more like that. I think it's more like the fact that
Um,
you have
I will
this
tell you one thing is that I have
world apart from another world, and just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there.
Well, exactly. When you were
There is
talking about
no way in God's green earth and the universe that there is just one life-sustaining planet in this universe. This vast, ever-growing, ever-expanding universe. Every day, your universe before you grows a little bit bigger each day. Each day expands about, I think, a few kilometers a day. And they actually say even the moon has an effect where it seems like it's getting farther and farther away from us. Or is it closer to us? Which one was it? The one I know they said it was either one.
When it comes to science and mathematics, I prefer.
Because
to be ignorant.
there's a phase in the universe that over time something happens to the moon where either it's pushed towards you directly, so it looks like it's getting bigger because it is getting bigger because it's about. It's basically getting closer to your planet because of the changes in gravity and the flows and the energies and stuff. So sometimes it can change that way, but also it can change in another way, which both ways would be negative. Because if the moon just drifts away from us, it's still bad. Because if you think about it, the moon controls our tides.
Yeah.
And a lot of our weather anomalies. Without that moon, everything would totally be set into disarray. So no matter whether it moves close or far away from us, we're still bad off. We're still out of luck. There's nothing we can do about that except try to make sure that it doesn't get too far away. Instead of focusing all our attention on all these stupid things, we should start basically building these things that just in case, for instance, like we have a 12/21/2012 threat, that many of us are prepared to handle what's coming our way. Because just because it comes doesn't mean everybody's going to ultimately die.
Right.
There are going to be people that will survive, even if it does come. It happens every time the world has, had something like that happen. A few small traces of them survive. Like the prehistoric animals that we still have today. A lot of them are still here. And just because we don't think they look like dinosaurs doesn't mean they're not dinosaurs.
Oh no, chickens.
Like the sea turtles, there's a form of shark that's an ancient shark, a megalodon. And I really think they still exist still.
That's what the Loch Ness Monster could be.
And the blue whales, they just went deeper into the water because I've seen wildlife shows where the blue whales were swimming, and it was a recently recorded show. So the way they said the blue whales were going extinct, they're basically contradicting themselves each time. Every time they say one thing, they end up contradicting themselves and then say a complete opposite. And it's like, I'm just like, okay, well, when are you going to get your facts straight? Are they under the ocean just going into the depths because there's intelligent beasts? Or are they extinct?
Mm-hmm.
And I truly feel that, even in animals' lives, they get that point to where they get that understanding that if they don't go a little deeper and practice holding their breath a little longer, they're going to die. They're going to die out.
That's what
A blue
evolution
whale, in many cultures, is a very, very spiritual thing. In Norwegian cultures, it has a meaning, and no matter where you go, each different thing you see or experience has a meaning somewhere else as well. If that certain anomaly or creature is there, a lot of it's based on cultures. Whale hunters, they hunt whales because it's in their blood and it's in their culture. Although it's bad and they take too much, they still do it because it's in their culture and they grew into it and they just think it's okay and that it's all right. No, it's not all right. It is wrong to kill anything, and it is wrong to kill at all. Period. But, you know, if to eat, you can kill an animal.
Yeah.
But when you kill that animal, you need to use every part of that animal's body and thank the animal's spirit, and then thank the Creator and the Great Spirit, or in your own faith, do that in your own way, but do it something like that. Because that animal can be taken away from you too. And you have to realize that because, I mean, for instance, like a lot of animals are going extinct because their territories are dying out. The polar bears are dying because of the fact that, you know,
The polar ice caps are melting.
the penguins are dying. They said I watched this video, this show on I think it was the Nat Geo or Nat Geo Wild, but one of the two, but it was about penguins, and I think they said, if I remember correctly, they said about around 2013, if we don't do something, the penguins will disappear completely. Because more and more of them are dying, because as the earth dries out, it endangers their life a little more. To us, ice is dangerous, but to them, ice is their safety. Ice is that thing that keeps them strong and healthy and alive.
Well, it's their environment. It's just like taking oxygen away from us. It's just, it's ridiculous.
Or taking our water away.
Yeah.
And like that's another thing. Our lakes are highly contagious. They're highly diseased. They're filled with stuff that really shouldn't be drunk.
Pollution.
Yeah. Our lakes are highly polluted. I was watching a newscast a couple of months ago about the Lake Michigan, and they were talking about there's this blue-green algae stuff or something like that.
Yep.
And they said it's the most deadly form, like just to get it on your skin, if it gets in your pores, it can hurt you as well, because it causes lung things.
Well, it just covers everything.
It costs a lot of health priority, even just to get on your skin, And it's just, if you think about it, that's what you're drinking.
Well, it's filtered out, but...
Yes, but it's not, even our filter systems today are not as good as they should be.
No.
So basically, when you start tasting that dirt feeling, that's bad water.
And it's getting more and more advanced.
And then in time, sometimes I turn on the sink, how you smell sewage?
Yeah.
That's a horrible thing. When you do that, it's like, oh my gosh, really makes me think, And I don't know if it makes you people think, but it makes me think an awful lot about what we're doing to this world and how much impact we're actually having on the earth. The small little things of everyday life that are starting to stand out so much more crystal clear than they ever used to. I don't know if you've noticed these things as much as I have, but I've definitely noticed them. And I'm starting to be aware of these things. Because they're very destructive things that are happening around the globe. France already can't drink their water. Most places when you go in France, they don't have bubblers in France.
They have bottled water.
Yeah, they just give you bottled water. Even the people, they buy bottled water.
Well, this
Because
conversation...
that's so infection.
This conversation is getting pretty heavy and can definitely be seen to people as negative.
Yeah.
So how do you go from a conversation like this to wanting to dance?
Well,
How do you make that transition to go from this to wanting to dance? Because you still want to dance, right?
well, yeah, but I told you I got thrown off. I was thinking about more sane instead.
No, I don't mean literally dancing right now. I was talking about like when you were talking about you wanting to dance this weekend. How do you go from a conversation like this, which is really heavy and overwhelming, to even wanting to do anything?
Because
Possible.
after I talk about the whole effects of things, what I do is when I go out into the regular world outside of me, then I just don't let it affect me. I don't watch the news, as much, On occasion, people bring news to me, but I don't like to watch the news because the news is depressing. So what I do is, after I talk about an issue that's on my mind, that's really just rotting my mind, and we all get those moments where we have an issue that we have to discuss, And if we don't discuss it, it just rots on our minds.
Mm-hmm.
And it just destroys us if we don't do something about it. So we have to talk it out, get it off our chest, because even though we weren't there, at the same time, it still affects us. Minor things around the world affect others in the world,
Yeah.
no matter where you turn or where you go.
And I think it's going back to, just you looking to the stars and realizing, the God is out there, that, God, Goddess are, looking over you and stuff, and having that hope. I mean, you resonate hope. And I think,
Faith.
yeah, and I think it comes back to that. And little things. We can do little things every day that can help turn the tide into a more positive thing, that we can, deal with blue-green
Okay,
algae and all of that.
I'm just letting people know that there's 10 minutes before I think the next set comes on, right?
It comes a little bit later, but you can, if you want to wrap up at 4:30, that's perfect.
Oh, okay. Well, all
Did
right.
you want to sing?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna try singing again. Last time I was highly nervous. Hopefully this time I won't be as nervous.
Let me hold the microphone.
No, I got
Okay.
it. Okay. Can you but first, before I do this, can you get me some water? Because when I get nervous, my throat gets very dry. I get what I like to call Sahara Desert mouth. Okay.
Can you see his eyes?
But yes.
Okay.
Is the mic on?
Yeah, this way. Yeah, they are here.
I can't see.
Paramedics are there.
Yeah, there's an officer here.
An officer.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll go ahead and I'll let you go. The paramedics will be there shortly, alright?
Yeah.
One moment, people. I'm sorry. But anyway, while we're waiting for that, I just want to wish everyone a happy holidays and say Merry Christmas. On Christmas Eve and Christmas, I know December 25th sometimes usually arrives, I think, on a Thursday. So if it is December 25th usually arrives on a Thursday or a Friday, right? Typically.
It changes.
I know, but like a lot of times it does. But just in case Christmas Eve is on Thursday, I want to let you guys know that I wish you happy holidays, because I will not be doing the show on Christmas Eve because of the fact that I have to have. It's Monday night. Okay, cool. Oh, good. Because sometimes I
back
know
next
depending
week.
on like the month or something. It's
You will be
depending on
back
where it's
next
ranged.
week.
Okay, yeah, then I will be back next
Yes.
week. But yeah, because I know when I was growing up, sometimes Christmas was on Thursdays or Fridays.
Yeah, it changes every year.
I know, that's always
me hold
confusing.
that.
That's one of the most confusing things for me when things change like that. I'm like, why can't you just keep it one way and one way only? It's so, why you gotta confuse it? Simple program, complicated people. People tend to complicate the heck out of a lot of things in the world. They don't need to be complicated, people.
Well, that's why Thanksgiving is always on the Thursday. It is. It is always, whether it's the 23rd, the 22nd, the 25th.
Yeah, because
Christmas is
know
different.
it complicates things.
Yeah.
We've been getting lots of calls, texts, and actually some email. I'm still getting
Go.
Twitter site, Twitter,
Can you hold this?
hello caller,
Hey everybody, I'm Dakota. I'm gonna start singing for you. These songs come to me through spirituality, and it's actually, I'm gonna sing on the internet, but I'm gonna sing to him. This is actually a song for him. I'm gonna sing it to him. Okay, ready?
Yeah, I gotta find you here.
You got me? Let me know when you got
I
me.
got you.
Okay. No, oh god, no. I'm too nervous.
Should I take
Not
the
gonna
camera off here?
happen. No,
Okay.
it's not gonna happen. I'm too nervous right now.
All right.
When I get nervous, I get real bitchy. Okay. I don't want to sound bad. No.
It's okay.
Sorry, people. I'm just a little nervous today, evidently, because of my hyperactivity. Happens, but next week I'll definitely sing and dance for you. I'll make sure you see it. A lot of people like it when I sing and dance. They think it looks pretty cool. But I'll let you see it next week. But this week I've dealt with a lot of stress and I'm got a little nerves. But hopefully you people still think the show's going well. But even though I'm a little nervous today.
Want to just do a few parting words and then we can wrap it up?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea and that's why I was thinking 4:30, like, because of the fact that my anxiety is so high because I'm hyperactive.
Okay.
I just guess I want to tell you people that no matter what, rain, sleet, snow, or sunshine, I will try my best to be here as much as possible. On certain times I will not be here, but like other times, most of the time I don't care if I'm sick, or I could have got hurt the other day. I would still come the next day. And actually, when I got into that thing with the gun, I came next day, right? Yeah, so there's proof right there. I take my spirituality seriously. It's important to me, and I think spiritual beliefs and faith and things like that should be important to a lot of people, and because that's the stuff that will get you through these hard times. As you go through these hard times, know that you are not alone, and that there are people out there looking out for you and also watching you. And there are people that are willing to help you, and you don't know they're there, but they're there. So have faith and stay strong, and have a good night, and happy holidays to all.
If that's your criteria for the best ink, well, that makes sense. But for some people, they like a richness, a real dark, sort of about the texture of the ink itself. You know, it can go different ways in terms of what your standards of quality are for ink.
Well, Mrs. Robert Whitehead from Nelson